Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Tilting Ground Untitled Notre Dame USC Football Podcast. I'm Michael Muto, and I'm here with Notre Dame expert Greg Flamong. Greg, how you doing?
I'm lying on my back on my couch. This is going to be my therapy.
Perfect. So we're doing this from the new studio here. For me, I was moving this weekend, and unfortunately, I didn't get to catch the game live. I checked in here and there on my phone. NBC Sports has a great app. Kudos to them. We'll talk about Fox when we get to the USC game. Um, so I got bits and pieces. I did catch the end in real time, so I was there with you in spirit.
The glorious end.
How you doing?
I mean, it's 2017. Here we are. Here we are, where we've always been.
So let's start from the end and work our way back. The ending's a great place to start.
All right.
I'm watching on my phone, and the previously much maligned Notre Dame defense stops Georgia. They need a big stop, and Notre Dame stops them.
And they got it. They did the thing that they needed. Notre Dame got the ball post. So after Georgia kicked the field goal to go up 20-19, Notre Dame's getting the ball with like 3:30 left. And everyone on Twitter is, all right, this is it, Wimbush. Let's see it.
That's what I thought. I mean, that's why I made sure to stop
Everyone's
what I was doing.
thinking it. Let's see what you got, kid. And they went 3 and out very quickly, which was good for them. So then they punt, and the assumption is like, okay, this is they're not getting the ball back. But then they do.
Which, I mean, Georgia, you have one of the best running backs in the country. Only give him the ball once, right? Good job, Georgia.
Well, they went to that. They had the fullback dive, and they'd done it a couple times with success. And so you had to think. And then Jay Hayes with a great play, just like kind of jumps the snap count, gets in between the tackle and the guard, and he stops him. And they get the ball back again. And you say to yourself, okay, Wimbush, this is it.
and what happens? Your captain.
And then the captain, the senior captain, first round pick left tackle, just gets barbecued.
Just beat.
I mean, I guess to his credit, I guess the kid who did it is a pretty good player.
Still.
I don't follow Georgia football as closely as I should, but apparently he's good. He's good. But the game was
he's not the captain, that's for sure.
Well, the game was on the line, Michael.
Yeah. And, big players make big plays.
And it's funny. I told you last week about the linebackers, about Niles Morgan, who stepped up his game. And I'm sure we'll get to the defense later, but yeah, linebackers were not a problem this week. But I was saying, like, you're really only as good as your best player. And
did he touch the guy who made the sack?
He touched him.
He touched him? Okay.
He touched him.
It was pretty close to not touching, though.
It was fleeting.
It wasn't the Olay pass
solid. It wasn't a solid piece, but he did in fact touch him.
Okay.
No. It was and so Wimbush, I'm sitting on the couch and I see the guy coming around the corner and I just screamed, "Look out!" He didn't hear me. And so he gets blindsided, ball on the ground, and I'm screaming for someone to pick it up, for someone to just see it. And they didn't see it, Michael. And
in Wimbush's defense on that particular play, there's nothing he can do. It's his blindside.
No, he not only that, it's like he has to count on the fact that that's not going to happen to him.
He gets at least a second.
Yeah, no, I'm not being critical of Wimbush on this. I mean, you can't see
for
him.
This one thing.
Yeah, I mean, he did not represent himself as well as he could have. Absolutely. But yeah, I mean, that just, that just kind of encapsulates like the last couple of years in the Brian Kelly era. I mean, you have they talk all summer about traits and attention to detail and winning games and finishing games. And your senior captain gets beat and it costs him the game. And that's what happens, McGlinchey, I mean, look, it's tough, man. You play good teams and these things happen. And they keep happening in Notre Dame. So I mean, that's how it's been. That's how it's been.
So working backwards from the pivotal moment in the Georgia victory, I was surprised that Notre Dame was able to the defense was able to keep it this close. I didn't think they had it in them. I was shocked when I saw, was it the low rushing yards total? The defensive line held both running backs pretty well.
Yeah, they were solid. They gave up two big ones. They gave up a 33-yard run to Chubb early when it's kind of a bad run fit, and the freshman defensive tackle Tagovailoa he got sealed off, totally dominated by the left tackle for Georgia, and Chubb kind of busted free, and Nick Coleman actually made a great tackle on the play, held him to a field goal. So there was that, and then there was the 40-yard gain by the freshman after the freaking just a terrible penalty by Julian Okwara, who he hits the quarterback late. And look, I don't think it's a penalty. Like, if you want to look at all the times that Wimbush was hit late, just similar fashion, just like the guy takes a step and he hits him. And it's like, I know that the ref is like, oh, it's on the sideline and it looks worse, so I'm going to throw a flag. But, I mean, it's just not. Like, the fact that Wimbush doesn't have one roughing the passer on him in the whole game, and then they call that one, and you see some of the hits on Wimbush, it's weak. That being said, it's just, you don't have to touch him. You don't have to do it. And Notre Dame's off the field, getting the ball up 16-10. So, I mean, and then 2 plays later, they run a jet sweep to this freshman running back, and the safety comes up for outside force to send him back in, but Asmar Bilal jumps outside, running back cuts in behind him, and he's open clear, and then they score touchdown 2 plays later to go up 17-16. So other than the 2 big runs, I mean, that's 73 yards, and they rush for 185.
Yeah, that's pretty good against Georgia.
Yeah, so other than that, you're looking at – I mean, look at – and, not to minimize them, those plays count. But you're looking at about 110 on the ground for Georgia, which, I mean, look, they held them to 20 points. I mean, you hold Georgia to 20 points.
You feel good about yourself.
You got to feel like you're giving yourself a chance to win the game there. And the defense was good enough to win. They were. But
they had a turnover, at least one, right? Then they intercepted the freshman kid.
They intercepted the freshman, Drew Tranquil, great coverage. Right before halftime, Notre Dame gets the ball. This is another thing, Michael. They get the ball around the 50-yard line. They got 26 seconds left. Okay, and first of all, Georgia looked in no big rush to try to get points on the board in that situation. They ran it twice, let the clock run all the way down, then they throw the ball. It's an interception. Okay. Notre Dame gets the ball around the 50-yard line. I texted Timmy. I said, look, Notre Dame's got to take some shots because you're not getting the ball to start the second half. You stole a possession here, and you're around the 50. Just take a shot deep, a couple of them, because so what if it gets intercepted? So what? It's all the way down there. You tackle them, and then they're just going to run the clock out. It's like a punt. You don't lose anything. They run a stupid screen pass for no gain. then they have to burn a timeout. So they burn a timeout having gained no yards. Then they run another swing pass to Tony Jones behind line of scrimmage, and he loses yardage. And then they just let the half run out. Like, it's like, why aren't you trying to make a play here?
Way to keep it safe.
Yeah, you're keeping it safe so that they get the ball to start the second half. It just doesn't make any sense. I don't appreciate it. You got to be aggressive in these situations. So they threw the interception on that one. There was another one where him and Chubb. This is how Notre Dame they set up their first touchdown. Him and Chubb went to hand the ball off, and they fumbled it. And then the quarterback tried to just kind of pick it up, and Dalen Hayes comes diving in and just snatches it from him. So that's what set up their first touchdown.
Good job by the defense.
Good job by the defense, man. Being aggressive, diving on fumbles.
But bad job by the offense. So I was Mr. Doom and Gloom, Brandon Wimbush, before the season started. I know Georgia's a good team. They were ranked 15th at the time when they lost to Notre Dame. You talk me through Brandon Wimbush. Is this, hey, they played a good team, bad things are going to happen? Or is this, oh, man, we may see more of this performance throughout the rest of the season?
Well, here's the thing, Michael. Okay. The offensive line got beat 2 ways to Sunday. Okay, they just got their butts handed to them the entire game. All right. The running backs didn't have space to run. It's like I told you before, like Georgia. I say the running backs. There was only one that they gave the ball to. We'll
get there.
We'll talk about that later.
Don't worry.
Yeah, so it's not like Josh Adams had a bunch of holes and there was room there or something like that. There was not space. Every time, Brandon Wimbush is trying to keep the ball, there's people in his face everywhere. He's getting hit constantly on the pass. Like every pass he throws, he's getting hit or someone's like standing right next to him. So the offensive line bears a lot of blame for the way Wimbush played. That being said, I thought he was tentative. I thought he was erratic. He didn't have confidence. He was indecisive. Like he was making just some terrible reads on the zone read or the read option. Like he's given it when he should keep it, and then when he keeps it, he's trying to run around instead of running straight ahead. He didn't throw an interception, but Georgia dropped like 3 interceptions. I mean, he was just putting the ball in some really bad places. The first play of the game, he's got a flea flicker, and St. Brown's running wide open, and he doesn't lead him, so he kind of has to reach back, and the defensive back gets in there and rips St. Brown's arm away, so it's incomplete. He just didn't have it. I mean, it just wasn't there.
So I had a question about his rushing. He kind of said something. I was in and out of the game all day, and when I looked at the box score, he was 16 carries for 1 yard, and I know there were like 3 or 4 sacks.
He was 16. So without the sacks,
help me through that. Yeah,
without the sacks, he's 16 for 33.
Okay,
so he lost 32 yards on sacks.
All right.
So, but I mean,
still not great for a running quarterback.
It's terrible. It was a non-factor. Like I wrote the day before, like, his legs are an X factor in the game because everything looks pretty equal, and by and large, everything kind of was equal. Like if you look at it, but the thing that I thought that Notre Dame had that Georgia doesn't is their quarterback doesn't run and ours does. So if stuff breaks down, our quarterback can get out of there and make some plays with his legs and puts the pressure on the defense. That didn't happen at all. Not one time did he. I mean, there was one time he made a little spin move and ran for a first down, but other than that, it just wasn't a weapon for Notre Dame. So, I mean, I don't know. He looked like Everett Golson against Michigan in 2012. Just he didn't have it.
All right.
So
now was some of this play calling, or was some of? I mean, there's a lot of blame to be had all the way around, I imagine.
Like I can't blame like specific play calls, right? Because whatever play is called, like they should be able to execute it better, you know? That being said, like I didn't think they were creative at all. Like I didn't understand the personnel they were using. You know, I got into this conversation a bunch of times on Twitter today about.
Well, hold on. I was gonna go there. So
Okay.
I was diving in your ads over the weekend to see if I missed anything. And so today's mailbag question will come from your friend Andrew Wynn,
Okay.
and it's Dexter Williams didn't have any carries. Would that have affected the game? I know how he feels.
The game. Well, no,
Yeah.
his position is not incorrect. His position is that like we don't know, we don't like just because he plays doesn't mean the outcome changes, right? Which is correct.
Well, I don't know.
Like,
I mean,
well, no, like I don't know either, and he doesn't. So like he's saying like
right.
why are you assuming that? Why are you assuming that things are different? You know, why are you assuming he comes in and does a good job? Like we don't go to practice, we don't have all the information the coaches do, so we should trust that the coaches know who the best players are to put in the game.
I think I set this up poorly also. So Dexter Williams is Notre Dame's backup running back. He had over 100 yards rushing on like 6 carries last week, and according to Greg's Twitter, he has he's averaging like 7 yards a carry or something like that in his career at Notre Dame, but he only has like 100 carries. Let's see, I'm gonna pull it up right now.
He has 66 carries, something like that.
That's not. Here we go. It's 66 carries for 405 yards at 6.1 yards a carry and 5 touchdowns. And so he's only backup running back, and he didn't get a single touch.
Right, and his point is that he hasn't played against quality competition like Josh Adams has. And my point is that, look, you have a weapon on your team. Okay? Like, he's big, he's fast, and he's explosive. And he's different than Josh Adams. Josh Adams is a long strider. He runs upright. Dexter Williams is a little bit more explosive. They're just different players. Like, what I'm saying is, like, you have a weapon on your team that you are choosing not to use. You're not stressing Georgia if you don't put him in the game. You're not stressing Georgia if you don't give him a couple of carries. And, Brian Kelly said today, well, he's not good in pass protection. Like, then
don't put him out there.
Don't put him out there when they're passing the ball. And it's like, oh, well, then Georgia knows they're going to run the ball. I remember in like 2012 and in 2013 when they would put Daniel Smith in the game at receiver, and they would never throw the ball when he's like, every time Daniel Smith was in the game, it was a run play, and they would still run the ball. Every time, and then in 2013, every time Daniel Smith and James Anualu were in the game, they were running the ball. Every single time. Everyone knew it.
I mean, it's college football. You can get away with that.
Just because they know, oh, this is probably going to be a run, doesn't mean they know what kind of run. They don't know which way you're going to run. They don't know that stuff. Like, you can still use your players. Like, Georgia, they had 6 players carry the ball in the game. They managed to get the ball into the hands of players that they say, okay, when this person has the ball, it's dangerous for the other team. You're doing Georgia a favor by not playing these guys. They don't want you to play. You think Georgia watches the film and says, I really hope they give him a lot of carries in this game? Like, of course they don't want that. You're doing them, you're making it easy for them when you don't play players that stress you. And it's the same thing with Chase Claypool and CJ Sanders and players that you can hurt the defense with. And Brian Kelly said, we wanted to take shots. We wanted to take deep shots and get behind the defense, but we didn't have time. I just don't buy it. I don't buy it. Like, Brandon Wimbush threw 40 passes.
That's a lot.
They weren't all 3-step drops. Like, you have time to do things. And we saw Georgia do it a bunch. They threw the ball deep. Sometimes they were incomplete, and sometimes they were caught. Okay, they caught a couple of jump balls. They threw one deep ball that the man was open, but he overthrew him, and they threw another deep ball with a man standing by himself, and he's going to walk in for like a 50-yard touchdown, and he dropped it. Okay, but what they did was they stressed the defense, and that gives them something to think about. When you're not trying to do that, when you're not putting 6'3", 225-pound runs like a gazelle, Chase Claypool, and run him down the seam and you throw him the ball, they're not afraid. When you have Freddie Canteen out there and Cam Smith and EQ and a couple of tight ends or whoever, that doesn't scare them. That doesn't stress them. That doesn't stress their defensive coordinator. Like, hey, I can't call this blitz or I can't call this defense because I'm worried about this guy getting behind us. They don't have to worry about that stuff. And that's my problem with the personnel. It's not that like I disagree with X play call or this play call or that play call. Like, you're not varying the players that you have out there, and when you have them out there, you don't use them. And I understand that Chase Claypool, like, they tried to throw him a screen and he dropped the ball. Okay. But you know what? The Georgia kid dropped a walk-in touchdown too. And they kept going to him. They kept him in the game. They put the kid in the Wildcat. They put the kid in motion. They gave him the ball in a jet sweep. Like, you have to involve your weapons because it gives the defense something to think about. And when you give them something to think about, that means that there are things that get left open. And
Agreed wholeheartedly.
I mean, there was a point, like, in the third quarter, like 4 players had touched the ball for Notre Dame, including the quarterback.
Well, that's what I was going to say. As like I said, I can only, I'm catching highlights here and there, viewing in every now and then, checking the box scores to see who's getting the yards and who's doing what. And it was kind of baffling to me because I kept looking at Notre Dame stats. I'm like, there's just a couple guys doing things, and I know they have more players than this.
There were 4 people who touched the ball. It was Wimbush, it was Adams, it was Alize Mack, and it was Tony Jones Jr., and that was it. No one else had touched the ball.
And wasn't Josh Adams the leading rusher and receiver?
Yeah.
Like, that's not good.
I mean, it's fine.
It depends.
I mean, he's like 20 carries for 55 yards and 6 catches for 60. Like, I just feel like they weren't very creative with what they were trying to do. It seemed like they didn't really have like a very coherent game plan. Like, they were just calling stuff that they thought might work. It looked disjointed. And look, I mean, full credit to Georgia. That's a good defense. But I mean, I expected more. Like, I expected, like, okay, this is what they wanted to do in this game.
And they had the chances. It wasn't like, like I said, what's his face? Wimbush threw 40 passes. They ran the ball 37 times. Like, that's a lot of plays. That's a lot of chances. That's a lot of time with the ball in your hands.
It's darn near 80 plays. Yeah, it's not like they didn't have the ball. So,
hey, field goal kicking was good, though.
Yeah, it was. Thank God. Thank goodness. No, he stepped up. I wish he'd have gotten one more chance. I'll tell you that.
All right. So what are we thinking for next week? It's the first road game. They're going to Boston College.
What do I think for next week?
Do the wheels fall off? Was this crushing? Was this heartbreaking?
I don't think so.
This is bounce backable.
Yeah, and here's the reason why I think so. Is the things that Georgia takes away, I don't think other teams can just take away. Like, Georgia can basically say, like, hey, like, we're gonna dominate you up front. Like, I just don't see that happening again. You know, I mean that's a real defense. Like the people, I mean, what's this? One of the preview magazines had them like top top linebacking crew in the nation or something. You know, and they got a couple D linemen that are really good players. I mean, they got a bunch of NFL guys, and like Boston,
Yeah,
College,
they're Georgia. They're always pretty good.
I
I
mean, like
mean,
Boston College doesn't have that.
no.
You know, so I mean, if they're going to come out and lay an egg, then yeah, of course they could lose. But I
Well,
don't think they're going to.
that's more the question is this is this the start of something bad or
No, I don't think they can lose to Boston College. I do think they can lose the week after that. But I mean, we'll get to that. But I don't
yeah,
think
one game at a time.
I don't think they can lose to Boston College. That's my opinion.
I can't tell you the spread because I don't know what's going on here with
It's 14.5.
with the internet and sportsbook.com said no lines available, maybe because of weather. I guess they're
No. I saw it. Notre
all
Dame's favored by
right.
14.5.
All right, that sounds about right.
Yeah. I'm taking I'm giving the points.
Okay.
I'm giving the points. I think they're gonna blow them out.
I mean, Boston College can't be. They seem Temple-esque.
Yeah. So,
So
but just to circle back, like, so Andrew Wynn is right. Like he's right that I don't have the information and I can't assume it.
well, but that's I don't think that's a fair argument because that's what I was gonna say. Is I did a whole 360 on this. That's right. I came back to where I started. When I first saw you guys going back and forth, I thought I agreed with you that yeah, give Dexter Williams touches. Like all the guy does is score touchdowns and break long runs, and he's an X factor. Who knows what's happening? But then I saw his arguments, and I was like, oh, he's right. Like if the good players aren't making plays, why would their backups make plays? We're not in practice. We don't quite know what's going on. But then your point of different personnel not being used other places as well kind of spun me back around to I don't know, maybe that would be helpful. Yeah, they're not using all the receivers. They're not using they're only using Alize Mack at tight end. Not a lot of personnel sets. It's like you got to change it up. You got to put different, like you just said, you got to put different looks on defenses just to make them guess.
And I don't and I don't know that it would have made a difference. I don't know. Like I don't know.
It was a 1-point game though. I mean,
no, but what I'm saying is like it's not that I'm not arguing that he needs to play or whoever needs to play because I think it would have I'm not saying if Dexter Williams would have played.
Oh right.
He would have run for 80 yards or whatever. Like I'm not saying that, and I don't know. I don't know if any of the things that I said made a difference, but I don't like the process. I don't like the idea of, well, this guy doesn't do that well, so he can't play at all.
Right. No, I'm with you.
Or Chase Claypool and Miles Boykin and CJ Sanders, like they don't pay attention. They don't pay attention to detail good enough. So they haven't earned their way on the field.
Well, neither does the captain, apparently.
But my point is that it's like that's not your job as a coach is to prepare your team and give them the best chance to win. Like I don't think not having a role for Dexter Williams on offense gives you the best chance to win the game. Like I just don't think it. Like you have to find a role.
There's got to be something. There's got to be something for him to do.
The guy is flying down on every punt.
And that's usually like something that coaches want to get the gunners involved. Like that's like a thankless position.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like he's flying down on every punt, and he's busting his butt. He's a freaking gunner. Like he's a running back. Dude, highly recruited player, running back. He's running around as a junior. He's running down as a gunner. Like he's showing you that I want to be in this game. Like I am giving max effort here. And I just don't see how it's like that's his role. That's his only role. Like I don't get it. Like C.J. Sanders, the guy's returned 4 kicks for touchdowns in his career, and he had another one called back. Like, he doesn't have a role on the offense? Like, how is that possible? Like, how is that utilizing what you have on your team? I just don't see how they're doing that. And that's your job. You have to utilize what you have.
Maybe they don't know that. Maybe you should write a strongly
They
worded
obviously know. It's not that they don't know. I just don't like this excuse. Oh, he's not a good pass blocker. Well, they don't have him pass block. I don't have him pass block. Like, does every freshman running back who plays, is Stephen Carr for USC, like, is he a great pass blocker?
I don't know. But they put him in all the time.
They put him all the time, and he runs the ball. He's a junior. Like, Dexter Williams is a junior. He's a junior. Why doesn't he know how to pass block? You're his coach. Teach him. Like, hey, man, every time you get the ball, you run really far, really fast. But we can't play you until you learn how to pass block. So let's just do that. Ugh. It just makes me so mad. Oh, man, Michael. I have to tell you, it was my first talking to I got from my wife this week.
Well, like I said, I was diving in the ads, and Twitter loved that as well, Greg. You got a lot of love for
I got a talking to. I got in trouble. I knew it was coming. I knew it. It's like I said before about the wedding. Like, I knew it. I made the decision right after the Julian Okwara mess up. And I was like, they're going to score a touchdown on this drive. Like, that's just how it works. And they did. And after that, I was like, you know what? I don't even care. And I dropped some mother effers and some goddammits, and
the wife wasn't happy about exposing your children to that.
I'll tell you the worst one was when Notre Dame was down, or no, was up 19-17, and they got the ball in the fourth quarter. They got the ball with like 8 minutes left, 8:30 or something like that. And it's like, if you just go down and you have one drive to win the game, and you just score a touchdown, and that's it. That's it. They're not coming back. They're not going to score twice on you. Like, they haven't been good enough to do it. And it's 3rd and 2 or 3rd and 3, and Wimbush, they run read option, and Wimbush pulls it, and it was perfect. And he's going to run up for at least the first down, if not get a couple yards more. And the guy comes, and he decides to try to run wide on him, and he tackles him a yard short. And oh man, I was so upset. I jumped up. I said some things, and that's the thing. We had like family friends, or we had friends over, and they have little kids, and I have, my daughter and stuff. I got in trouble.
Gotta be composed.
Yep.
All right, let's switch over to happier times, happier places, happier things. The USC Trojans, the team I root for, are 2-0.
And you know what, man? Mea culpa. You called it. You called it. You said, I don't even care about that stupid game against Western Michigan. I don't care. They're blowing them out, and they're going to score 40.
I did. I said it. I believe this is a dynamite offense.
And I was like, dude, that is not going to happen. And I'll be damned if that didn't happen.
So on about Thursday, maybe, I don't remember when I was texting you during the week. It was Wednesday or Thursday. I started to get a little heated about special teams. I got a little heated about the defense and playing Jack Jones too many plays. And I thought to myself, I said, "What are you doing, Mike? This is a new leaf this year. You bought in this year. You bought in, Mike." And I said, they got Sam Darnold. They got Ronald Jones. Stephen Carr is a revelation. I think that's a better word, revelation. And this is a full throttle, afterburners on, Top Gun offense. Like this is what they do, and that's what they did. They scored. They scored 42. It was great. Loved every second of it.
I'm sure you did. I'm sure you did. It's so hard, like watching. It's like flipping back and forth, and like my guys, like they can't. Like, we can't even like it's like Wimbush is like chucking the ball into the seats or whatever, like in a clean pocket, and we're just like throwing interceptions and fumbling. Like there was another fumble. Josh Adams, another captain, like doesn't get over, and Wimbush fumbles. And I'm watching this, and so then it goes to commercial, and I turn on the SC game, and I see like uh, Deontay. What's it? It was it Deontay
Burnett,
Burnett. That's right. I was gonna say Greenberry, but I was like, that's a nice name.
number
Deontay
80.
Burnett is making diving freaking touchdown catches, and I'm like, dude, what is? Oh,
Just put the ball in play, man.
like dude, like Darnold's like scrambling around, like throws the ball up, and Deontay Burnett is just like full extension diving
You got to trust the players to make plays.
for their 35th point. Oh my god!
So when the game started, I got a little worried because what's his name? Bryce Love had 100 yards through the first quarter,
Right, you texted me that.
which is not great. But then I noticed that Sam Darnold was perfect. Well, he was like 9 for 9 or like 11 for 11 or something.
Yeah,
And I was like, oh, he's got this. I have no worries. No worries.
no incompletions is good.
Yeah. He went
Little inside
21
baseball.
for 26,
Yeah, he did.
which is wild.
Well, it's actually 23 for 26 because 2 of those were picked off.
True. One was a good play. One was a little.
I don't know why they count those as incompletions. It should count.
Someone got it.
The
I
ball
guess.
didn't hit the ground.
So yeah. So, it's just they let him run around. They let him do Sam Darnold things. Ronald Jones was a little bit of a workhorse with those 15 extra pounds,
Man,
and then just Stephen Carr. Just I said it last week. I'm gonna say it again this week. I didn't want to believe. I didn't believe. I just thought, sure, they have another good athlete, USC. That's what they do. They get good players, but whatever. This kid has like 240 yards in 2 weeks.
he's legit. He is so.
And he catches the ball. It's just crazy. It's just crazy.
It's hard because it's like I was saying, I switch back and forth, and so while I'm watching this happen, see the thing about Georgia is like thank God they don't have a quarterback, because if they did, I mean, like look, Notre Dame's defense was pretty good, but they're not like their front line, like they're not Georgia good. So if that guy had some time and he was a better player, well, I mean, he would have found people, and he had time, but it's like he's not ready for that yet. So he gets a little panicky, and he was inaccurate at times. But it's like their receivers are good players, so he would have found people. And so I'm seeing this, and then I flip over to the SC game, and I'm watching a Georgia team in USC with like maybe the best quarterback in college football. I mean, among the top whatever.
Sure.
Like you got Baker Mayfield and you got Lamar Jackson or whatever, but the point is like that dude's the real deal. And so it's like not only are we not going to win this game, but then I got to deal with this freaking situation in like 6 weeks or whatever.
Looming.
Yeah, and it's like when you see USC like struggle against Western Michigan, it's like, oh, okay, like maybe they're not as good as we thought, and then they just put up a 42 burger against Stanford, and it's like, oh, good, that's just great, just fantastic.
I will say for you, you're worried about the looming October showdown. One thing I've resigned myself to, and I think every USC fan should do the same, is if I learned it last year, and I don't know why I thought it would be different this year. This USC defense, they love giving up big plays. They love it. I don't know. I don't think sustained drives. Maybe. I don't know. Here and there, it's going to happen. Whatever. It's football. But home run plays, 75 yards to Bryce Love. When they lost Utah last year because Adoree Jackson gets beat for a game-winning touchdown. If you watch that Rose Bowl, Penn State's all up and down the field with big plays. I've resigned myself to the fact that these guys are going to give up big plays. And the home run offense by the Trojans, I think can outlast most teams. So hopefully I'm not going to, like I said, it's a new leaf this year. I'm not going to get mad when people bust big plays. I just want to warn everyone that it's going to happen and not to worry.
Notre Dame.
This is what the defense does.
Notre Dame isn't good enough at receiver to win a game like that against USC.
Great. Love to hear that.
They're not. I mean, you saw it. Like
I know.
You know, they don't have the people.
I don't even know who the receivers are because they don't throw the ball to any of them.
SC's kind of like Oregon.
Just anyone can get you at any time.
What do you mean?
Like they're gonna score a lot of points. They're gonna give up a lot of points.
Like Oregon is like they had this defense where it's like they relied on big plays. And it's like, yeah, sometimes, you know, we're going to give up a thing or two here, but like we're scoring 40 something anyway, so who cares?
Yeah, exactly.
Like we have no problem winning like 42-28 or 42-24 or something like that. Like they don't care.
Right. I think if you're an SC fan, that's what you got to be ready for. I know I touted them as maybe one of the best defenses in the country. I forgot about this penchant to give up large plays. They're still good. They still have good players. I wish they'd have more. It's only been 2 games. I probably shouldn't get too crazy here. And they held Stanford to 24 points. But yeah, I wish they'd have more sacks, more sacks and more interceptions. All right, it's something I'd like a little more of. I guess they had a big interception against Western Michigan. Shouldn't get too greedy, but I just worry about a defense where someone's called the Predator and they're not getting that many sacks. Like I want to see more pressure. If you're going to give up big plays, I want to see a lot of downfield pressure.
Yeah.
But whatever. They'll work it out, right? The defense got better last year, halfway through the season, so maybe it takes guys a little time to learn it. I don't know.
I hope they don't.
I hope they do. I'm
rooting for not.
Another thing I hope happens
are
the receivers. Because the receivers are still a little at USC. They just got Deontay Burnett. And that's about it at the moment. Steve Mitchell had a pretty good game. He had like 100 yards, 2 touchdowns. But you don't see too many people after that. Jalen Green, probably not that good as a receiver. Velus Jones got a little action. You still don't see, what's his name? Joe Lewis. He's supposed to be some big freshman that everybody's clamoring for. He hasn't got any touches. Tyler Vaughns and Sydney, they don't get any playing time. So
that's weird.
You know what I think it is? I think Michael Pittman is the best one of these young guys, and he's hurt. So I feel like they're waiting for him. I have nothing to back this up. I feel like they're waiting for him to get a little healthy. We'll see him.
Prognostications.
Yeah, that's what I think. I think once he gets healthy, we'll see more. Michael Pittman will be the young guy that they trust.
Okay.
Son of the famous running back Michael Pittman.
Super Bowl winner.
Yeah. And then maybe the tight ends, Darnold works the tight ends. Hasn't happened a lot yet. So maybe a little of that too. It's just crazy that everyone knows Sam Darnold's throwing to Deontay Burnett, and he still got 2 touchdowns and 120 yards.
So another note for the USC fans out there.
Mm-hmm.
If you were thinking of attending the game in South Bend this year, I can confirm that the Notre Dame fans are ready and willing to deal for their tickets. They can.
Was there a lot of red in the stands this weekend?
Like all week, I was hearing about like there's gonna be a red or whatever, and I was like, yeah, okay, like it'll be like Texas or whatever, and people are like, no, like seriously, there's gonna be a lot of Georgia fans there. I'm like, okay, we get it, like 30%, got it, 25%. dude. Like, and then they show the pictures, and I'm like, okay, like, are there any Notre Dame fans at this game, or like, what's that about? That's like the whole south end zone is like just freaking Georgia fans. It's like,
We
jeez,
we could book flights, Greg. We still have time.
man, I don't want to go to that.
It'd be nice and cold.
Fly all the way out there. It probably won't be very cold.
That's why they do it in October,
I'm
right?
not gonna, I'm not gonna fly. That's what USC does in October. I'm not gonna fly all the way out there to see them get blasted. I've got kids. I've got to. I can't leave. I can't leave my wife and children here so that I can go watch Notre Dame lose by 35.
But think about all the cursing you could do in person.
No, because then I'll just get ejected by one of the ushers. Man.
I'll try to think some other takeaways I had from this week besides, the 40 points.
Besides USC being freaking a juggernaut.
Just I want to know. I put a little money where my mouth was.
Did you really?
Bang the over.
Oh,
I was like, you know what? I'm like, no, this team's real. So I'm like, how can I show that I believe in the things I say? I'm like, I banged the over. You guys see almost got it all on their own.
Boom. Well, I'm glad that happened because your Patriots lost.
Well, whatever. They always lose to the Chiefs. That's
true.
Inconsequential.
And who cares?
Last time they lost early in the season to the Chiefs, they won the Super Bowl.
So. They won the Super Bowl last year. Who cares?
Oh, that time too.
I hate sports. Sports are not my friend anymore.
I know. So next week, Texas is coming to town. And I still believe.
You should believe.
I got nothing that says I shouldn't. Who did Texas lose to? Maryland? And then they beat San Jose State? Cool.
San Jose State is trash.
Feel good about yourselves.
Not only did they lose to Maryland, they gave up like a 50 burger.
Yeah, that's not good.
At home.
So look, Texas is going to get a couple, guys. Just know that.
What's the line?
Just look. I think it was like 17. Yeah, 17. Texas at USC.
You gonna give the point?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
All season. Just
really?
mark me down.
Okay, we won't even talk about it. I don't even want to talk about it.
I want to eat crow one day. I'm in. This is, you know what? I keep forgetting. Since I was moving, I got some stuff moved around before, and I had my "You Can't Sanction the End Zone" shirt out, and this is 2 weeks. I've had it out, but I keep forgetting to wear it come game time.
You can't sanction the end zone.
Yeah, that's from the Lane Kiffin era.
It's pretty good.
I know, and the shirt is undefeated, so I brought it out. I'm ready, but I just keep forgetting to put it on because I don't want to get it all dirty when I'm moving. That's a masterpiece. It's a Cardinal shirt with gold lettering. It's a beauty.
One of the great things about this USC Texas game coming up is they keep showing the Vince.
Yeah, just say it.
It's pretty great.
Yeah,
it's like come on, man. Why you gotta bring up old stuff?
I'm okay.
Hey, you wanted to talk about Fox, so let's talk about it.
Oh, I couldn't figure out how to work their app. NBC, they were great. I could turn on the game anytime I wanted. I had it going. Fox, I couldn't figure it out. It made me feel like a real old person. I had a Fox Sports app. I had a Fox Sports Go app. I don't know. I gotta talk to my people over there. And I just couldn't. I was watching. I saw the highlights. Like they put the highlights up pretty quick, like of a big play or anything like that. But actually watching the game, I couldn't figure it out.
You know what I want to do, Michael? I want to start a GoFundMe page to get Brady Quinn over to NBC Sports.
They need a homer. They need a homer in the box.
It's just this Doug Flutie situation is just.
I mean, look, if anybody at NBC listens to this podcast, I'll switch. I don't care. Even during the national championship season, I'll be a homer.
It's just like
Cut the check.
it's just terrible. Like he's not he doesn't know. That's the thing. Like here's the thing about Mike Mayock, okay? Mike Mayock is kind of a know-it-all, okay? And a little arrogant.
Kind of under a statement of the year, but okay.
Okay, that's fine. But you know what? The thing about a know-it-all is, Michael, they actually know stuff. That's why they call him a know-it-all. So it's like,
It's true.
so sometimes it's like, hey man, you're coming up a little bit too thick. But that actually is a pretty good point. Like, no, Doug Flutie, none of the know-it-allness, all of the BC just homer trash, hating Notre Dame. Like it's like when they did the late hit. Doug Flutie's like, look, it's late, it's out of bounds, and then they show the replay, and Mike Tirico was like, it's not really that late, and he's not out of bounds. He's like, well, he also hit him in the helmet. It's like just doesn't even
thanks, Doug.
Doesn't even get close to his helmet. Like not even close. Like no, that's actually not what it was. Thank you though, appreciate it.
We talked about this last year. I don't understand why NBC doesn't just go all in on Notre Dame people.
Oh, man.
Like it's not like casual fans are watching.
Brady
Like, a Notre Dame game's on. Let me tune in.
Is he's actually good. That's the thing. Not only can he do it, and he does it for Fox, but he's actually good at it. I'm starting a GoFundMe. We're gonna get Brady Quinn over to NBC Sports, whatever it costs.
That's less loftier goals than him being president.
He is going to be president.
I mean, hey, anything's on the table these days.
See, Michael, and he'll probably be a Republican. I'll vote for him. Bipartisan.
Now we're the home of Brady Quinn on NBC.
That's right.
Take that, Flutie.
Yeah, man.
All you did was ruin Miami's season anyways.
True that.
All right. I think we're good to go. Any news and notes out of South Bend besides the sadness?
No, Brian Kelly was mean to a reporter, and now everyone's mad at him.
Oh, come on, Greg. You're burying the lead. There were 2 bad Notre Dame news stories this week.
Were there?
There were 2, yeah. 2 lawsuits against the football program.
Oh, that.
And the school. There was some injuries that were shuffled under a rug, and some allegations that may have been shuffled under a rug.
Yeah, like the rape thing. You know what though? It's funny because I didn't see that talked about.
Well, they were too busy losing to Georgia. I think it happened the same day.
No, it was during the week. It was like Thursday or Friday.
I think it was Friday.
And I was like, that's weird that none of the Notre Dame people that I follow, like the reporter people, like they're not talking about it. And they always talk about that stuff. I thought that was weird. And then the player, it's like, man, you know, like Notre Dame blew the whistle on their own players for, accepting help on something or cheating on a paper, or someone wrote a paper for them. Like they blew the whistle on themselves, kicked the players out of school. And we're talking about like the starting quarterback. Okay. We're not talking about Doug Randolph, like special teams player. That's the thing that I don't understand. Like Notre Dame is going to put their reputation, not just Notre Dame, but the team doctor is going to put his license and job on the line to make a special teams player go out there. Like, dude, there are other people who can do the job that you're doing.
I just want to remind you, because you brought up academics, that they self-reported. During recruiting season, there's one thing that you constantly remind me, and that's Notre Dame cares about academics. Possibly they don't care about other things, but they care about academics. So maybe not the best.
But
fact to use to prove your point.
No benefit. That's the thing.
They got their special teams guy. He was a scholarship player.
Michael. He is look. If they could, let me tell you something. Okay, they would have happily given him a medical red shirt. To open up that scholarship.
But we'll see. We'll see what the court of
I'm
the
just saying.
United States has to
I mean,
say.
they're going to settle. They'll settle with him.
Of course.
Yeah.
Not worth it for Notre Dame.
Yeah. Like, why go through all the trouble? It's like, all right, what do you want?
Who knows where their medical stuff may come out,
Yeah.
which no one wants.
Right.
Football's hard enough to watch as it is.
Exactly.
All right, I got no stuff out of USC. Everyone's just happy to have the Trojans back. There was a Sam Darnold, Matt Leinart interview in one of the papers. That was fun.
Great.
Yeah.
Matt Leinart.
Well, he was available. Other than that, follow Greg on Twitter. At him, mention him, retweet him. He's a good follow, Notre Dame fans.
Yeah. Listen to more stories about how my wife is yelling at me.
People like it, apparently.
I guess so.
It's relatable.
Yeah, everyone's responding to me. Yeah, man.
Been there.
Know what it's like?
You can follow me on Twitter. I'm Michael Buto on Twitter. You can get at me for not remembering John Baxter's the USC special teams coach, but thanks for listening.
It's pretty funny.
It was good. Say a lot of words in an hour, man. Tilting Ground has all the latest podcasts. You follow us on everywhere. Write us, review us, leave something nice. Leave a nice comment on iTunes. Other than that, fight on.
Go Irish!